Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Azahar, and Azahar just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, Azahar 2120.3 is the latest update, and this is largely just a bug fix update. There were bug fixes across the board, but there is something worth noting here on Android. So when upgrading from Lime 3DS, there may have been some people out there who thought they lost their saves, which is not true. It turns out that Azahar uses a completely different directory altogether, and this new bug fix should hopefully fix that issue for people. Next up, we're talking about the Gear family series of emulators, for example, Gear Boy for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, Gear Coleco for the ColecoVision. We've got Gear System for the Sega Master System and Game Gear and SG-1000, as well as Gear Graphics for the TurboGrafx. And all of these got brand new updates. So at the time of filming, every single one of these emulators got minor bug fixes and improved game controller detection. But Gear Graphics here seems to have got the biggest update. At the time of filming, it's version 1.1.0. It got more accurate here, and there's improvements to stuff like scanline quality. And if you're curious about any of this stuff and wanted to learn more about it, you know what I'm about to say here. Like everything we talk about in this video, links are in the description below right at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. Next up, we're talking about the ultra popular Schedule 1. If you're playing this game and you're modding with it, then you may want to be careful here because it's being reported that some of these mods contain Trojan malware. Now this PSA is being posted in a bunch of different locations, and I would say this is one of the most important locations in terms of determining whether or not it's legitimate, because this is the official Reddit of Schedule 1. And they say here, and this is a moderator, malware found in two popular Schedule 1 mods, uninstall immediately. So if you are using Froggy P1's mod, increase stack size limit, uninstall it immediately because it does contain a Trojan. And the other one is the backpack mod re-upload. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm disappointed to hear this and absolutely not surprised. Schedule 1 is insanely popular. Modding for this game is insanely popular. And if there's a whole bunch of people using it, downloading a whole bunch of mods, if someone was looking to distribute malware, that would be a pretty big target. Not surprised at all, it's also a Nexus mods. So if you are modding Schedule 1 or any games in general, be careful of what you're doing and what you're downloading. And if you are modding Schedule 1, you may want to pay attention to their subreddit as well as their Discord. Their subreddit has a direct link to that Discord. Next up here, we're talking about PlayStation. Now on the weekend, we talked about PS Plus prices increasing, and we didn't talk about this. The price of the PS5 itself is increasing in Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. Now, this is not some sort of rumor. This information is right up on PlayStation's website. And again, like everything we talk about, link is in the description below at the bottom. They say with the backdrop of a challenging economic environment, including high inflation and fluctuating exchange rates, SIE, which stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Sony Interactive Entertainment, has made the tough decision to raise the recommended retail price on the PS5 console in select markets in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. Now, in Europe and the UK, it seems that the PS5 Digital Edition was the only one that was impacted with an increased price. They say no pricing changes for the standard PS5 with an Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive. And in Australia and New Zealand, it seems that both the standard and digital editions of the PS5 got price increases. We're going to have to wait and see if this is going to be more widespread, but I would venture a guess and say PS5s going to the United States are probably also going to be increasing in price. I just think they're trying to figure out what exactly that price is going to be. And speaking about pricing, next up we're talking about Shotgun Cop Man. Now this game, based on this little bit here, as well as the image for the game, kind of looks ridiculous as well as the name. But at the same time here, it is an indie game being published by Devolver Digital, and the gameplay is what matters here, and I think the gameplay looks really fun. This game is said to be retailing for about $10 overall on Steam as well as Nintendo Switch, and it's now releasing on May 1st. We've got a release date for it. If you are curious about this one on Steam, there is a demo available if you wanted to check it out. You know, I like to spotlight indie games every now and then, and let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and if you ever wanted to arrest Satan. And speaking about indie games at low prices, next up we're talking about Hero GP, which just launched over on itch.io. This game will cost you $1 or more, and it's a very fast racing game. Hero GP has been designed for the Game Boy Color. It'll work in emulators and also on the Analog Pocket. and you can even play it in your browser for free if you'd like. I would say based on the gameplay here, this is pretty impressive overall for the Game Boy. Let me know your thoughts about this one. And speaking about games at reasonable prices, next up we're talking about Metro 2033 Redux. Now, if $1 is too big of a price to pay, how about $0? Over on Steam, this game right now is 100% free until April 16th. This game was released back in 2014 to very positive reviews. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't really have intention of playing this game anytime soon just due to how big my backlog currently is, but 100% free is a price I'm willing to pay to put this on my backlog and to play in the future. And speaking about Steam and prices, next up here we're talking about Steam, and if you were ever wondering how much money you've ever spent on Steam, well, there's a way to find that out. And you may be surprised, you may be disappointed in yourself, or maybe you're proud of yourself for not spending as much as you think. Anyways, here there's a very good article over on PC Gamer explaining exactly how to find it. This has been reported recently on Reddit and a few other places, and all you've got to do is go into Help, Steam Support, My Account, Data Related to your Steam account, and then external funds used. Now, I don't know if I should be sharing this one or not, but I'm curious to hear your numbers here, so I'm going to share mine. I've spent a lot less than I initially thought. I usually wait for Steam sales. I like 90% off sales, and I don't buy stuff normally at full price or at launch. But at the same time here, I do make some exceptions here and there, and it has added up over the years. So I've only spent, on this Steam account, $2,900. But if you are comfortable sharing, let all of us know how much you've spent in the comments below. Maybe the high score gets some Sujano points, 500 Sujano points for the high score. Anyways, here, I'm willing to bet that there's people who have spent a whole lot of money on Steam. It's super addicting on those Steam sales when you see a game for like a couple of bucks, normally like 30 bucks. Next up, we're talking about something that's probably not going to break the bank, and that's a fan game for the Sega Saturn. This one is called Shenmue Back in Yokosuka. I might have mispronounced that. Anyways, here, this one looks pretty cool. This fan game is part of the Sega Saturn 30th Anniversary Game Competition, where a bunch of homebrew games have been submitted. Submissions were due April 11th, and I'm very curious to see who is going to win. If you are interested in this one, I do recommend checking out the video for the gameplay as well as reading up on the website. The winners will be announced on May 11th over on Twitch, and I may cover that on this channel. Next up, we're shifting from Sega to PlayStation and talking about PS1 emulation with arguably the best PS1 emulator out there, and that is Duckstation. And we're talking about Duckstation for Android. Now, on the Google Play Store, the latest update is March 20th. But I'm assuming the Google Play Store version is going to get updated fairly soon. At the time of filming, Stenzek has posted the latest version of Duckstation Android over on their website here at duckstation.org/Android. And we can see here the latest version is April 9th, where they've updated to the latest master build. That hopefully brings the APK, the Android version, closer to, if not be in line with the PC version. If you are using Duckstation, I would say it's probably worthwhile just to wait for Google Play to get updated, but if you wanted to check out the latest and greatest changes before they hit Google Play, you can always check out this website here. Next up here is just a friendly heads up about some Nintendo Switch 2 stuff. I don't want to dedicate a whole bunch of time to it because we've been talking about it quite a bit in a bunch of different videos. And a lot of this right now is speculation, and we won't know for certain until stuff actually happens. For example, the Switch actually going on sale. Anyways, here it's being reported that the Nintendo Switch 2 may face 145% tariffs for the US. However, and this is where things get a little bit interesting. I would say overall the whole situation is interesting. Either way here, it's being reported that Nintendo has already imported 750,000 consoles from Vietnam to the US in February alone. I'm curious to know the actual number that's already in the States. I'm wondering if Nintendo is going to keep the price at the stated $500 for the initial bit and then raise the prices once the other consoles come in. I've got no idea here. And I'm assuming if there is a batch that's priced lower than the rest, the scalpers will be very interested in picking up this cheaper cost in order to jack up the prices to be in line with whatever the Switch is going to be priced in the future. Either way here, a lot of this is speculation. There's going to be a lot of speculation on the price of the Switch moving forward, and I think May 9th is the day that the pre-orders open back up in the States and also Canada. So we'll have a real good idea if the price is going to be changing around that time, or hopefully before then. And on a side note here, to add even more speculation and rumor into the entire fray, it's being reported that most GameStop stores are expecting around 100 Switch 2 consoles available at launch. No word on what happens when those 100 run out and people are wanting more, and when they're going to be restocked. They say games and accessories will be extremely limited, and that is completely expected given the fact that this is a brand new console. I'm not expecting a whole bunch of games for it. And it does seem Nintendo is pushing towards digital. And last up here, we're talking about even more speculation and rumor, and take this one with a grain of salt, the tiniest of grains. Anyways, here we're talking about the PlayStation 6 Portable. So they're saying the PS6 Portable can definitely run PS5 games. So it's being reported that it's leaked that PlayStation is working on a PS6 Portable that will play PS5 games at a lower frame rate using a 16 or 15 watt SoC. I don't know about the truth to all of this. I mean, it's a very bold claim and crazy if true, but it would make sense given the fact that the Switch has been ultra successful. And given the fact that console gaming is starting to get closer to PC gaming, and I think a lot of people are more interested in PC gaming. I could be wrong with that. But anyways, here I think that all fuels into the speculation about the PS6 Portable. Whether or not this is true is a completely different story altogether. I have no idea right now. All there's been is some leaks, and that's about it. But let me know your thoughts about this one. I would say that a PlayStation 6 Portable would make a lot of sense and hopefully would be good. I'd be excited about it if it was priced right. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.